Chapter 1. The Dreamer. In a small, quiet town lived a young man named Leo. He was 20 years old and worked at a little shop. Every morning, he opened the shop, cleaned the floor, and waited for customers. But Leo had a dream. "I want to open my own business one day," he said to his best friend, Anna. Anna looked surprised. "Really? A business? That sounds hard." Leo smiled. "Yes, I know, but I want something more. I don't want to stay in this town forever. I want to do something big." At home, Leo read books about success. He watched videos about people who started with nothing and became something. His heart was full of hope, but others laughed. "Leo," said Mr. Thomas, the shop owner, "you start a business? You don't have money. You don't have experience." Leo just listened. He didn't argue. He only nodded and said, "We'll see." Each night before sleep, he wrote ideas in his notebook. He knew it would not be easy, but he also knew if he wanted to change his life, he had to start now. Chapter 2. Early Struggles. Leo started waking up earlier. At 5 a.m., while the sky was still dark, he got out of bed, made tea, and opened his notebook. He wrote, "Business idea number 1, fresh fruit delivery." He smiled and whispered, "Maybe this can work." He went to the market before his job and asked questions. "How much are the apples? Can I buy in bulk?" Some sellers were kind. Others were not. One old man said, "You think ideas are enough? You need money, boy." Leo just nodded. "Thank you, sir." Later that day at work, Leo looked tired. Mr. Thomas noticed. "Are you sick?" "No, just working on something new," Leo said. Mr. Thomas shook his head. "Dreams don't pay bills, Leo. You need to be realistic." At lunch, Leo told Anna, "I'm going to try selling fruit to people at home. Many old people don't go out much. Maybe I can help them." Anna looked at him. "That sounds kind. But what if it fails?" Leo smiled. "Then I'll try again." His first week, Leo bought apples and bananas with the little money he saved. He walked around town, knocking on doors. "Hello, I'm Leo. Would you like fresh fruit delivered to your home?" Most people said no. Some closed the door. A few smiled, but said, "Maybe next time." At night, Leo sat under the streetlight, counting the coins he earned. Only a few. He sighed. So little, but it's a start. He kept going. Every day, he walked more, spoke more, learned more. One evening, Anna walked with him. "You didn't give up," she said. Leo laughed. "How can I give up after just one try?" Anna smiled. "You're crazy, but brave." Leo looked at the stars. Maybe both. He still worked at the shop, still cleaned the floor. But inside, something had changed. He had started his journey. Chapter 3. Small Wins. Weeks passed. Leo still knocked on doors every afternoon. He carried a small basket with apples, bananas, and oranges. His shoes were old and his hands were cold, but his smile stayed strong. One afternoon, he knocked on the door of a woman named Mrs. Clara. She opened the door slowly. "Yes." "Hello, ma'am," Leo said politely. "Would you like some fresh fruit? I deliver to homes." Mrs. Clara looked surprised. "You deliver fruit?" "Yes. I walk around the neighborhood every day. Some people say no, but maybe you need some apples." She laughed softly. "Actually, yes. I haven't gone to the market in days." He showed her the fruit. "These are sweet apples. Very fresh." Mrs. Clara bought 4. "Come again next week." Leo smiled wide. "Thank you. I will." That was his first regular customer. The next day, she told her neighbor, Mr. Gray. Then Mr. Gray told his sister. Slowly, one by one, more people started opening their doors. Leo made a small flyer with help from Anna. It said, "Fresh fruit delivered to your door. Clean, affordable, friendly. Call Leo the fruit guy." He gave the flyers to children, shopkeepers, and anyone who smiled at him. He didn't have a phone number, so he wrote his home address. People started talking about him. "That fruit boy is polite. He comes even in the rain. He never forgets your order." One day, a woman gave him a big surprise. "You came last week," she said, "and the week before. I like your service. Would you like to use my old bicycle? I don't need it anymore." Leo's eyes lit up. "Are you sure?" "Completely. Take it." He fixed the tires and cleaned it up. Now, he could visit more homes faster. Anna watched him ride by. "You look like a professional now." He laughed. "Almost." On weekends, Leo started saving more money. He didn't buy snacks or new clothes. He said no to parties. Every coin went into a small box labeled Business Dream. Some nights, he felt tired. His legs ached. His back hurt. But he would whisper to himself, "This is part of the journey. Don't stop now." Then, something amazing happened. One Sunday, a man in a black car stopped near Leo. "Are you Leo?" the man asked. "Yes, sir. My mother told me about you. She says you're the best fruit delivery boy she's ever met." Leo smiled. "That's very kind of her." "I run a small grocery store," the man continued. "We're opening a new section for home delivery. Would you like to help us?" Leo blinked. "Help? You mean work with you?" "Yes. You know the people, the streets, and the needs. You've built trust. We need someone like you." Leo looked at the sky. He thought of the long walks, the cold mornings, the heavy baskets. Then he said, "Yes, I'd love to." It wasn't a big business yet, but it was growing. Leo was no longer just a boy with a dream. He was becoming a young man with a mission, and people were starting to notice. Chapter 4, Bigger Challenges. Leo's new role at the grocery store wasn't easy. He had more responsibilities now. Each morning, he arrived before sunrise to help prepare fresh fruit and vegetables for delivery. He organized lists, packed boxes, and double-checked orders. By noon, he was out delivering to homes. Some he already knew, some new. At first, everything felt exciting. He wore a clean green apron with the store's logo. People called him Leo the Delivery Star. He was proud. His dream was coming true. But soon, the real test began. The number of orders grew quickly. Too quickly. The store had only one small truck and Leo's bicycle. Sometimes customers would complain, "Why is my fruit late?" Or, "These bananas are too ripe." Leo tried to stay calm. One rainy afternoon, he slipped on wet pavement. The box of oranges he was carrying spilled across the street. A car nearly ran over one. Leo sat in the rain, soaked, holding a bruised apple in his hand. He felt tired, angry, even scared. That night, he said to Anna, "Maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe I should quit." She didn't speak right away. Then she said, "Do you remember when no one opened their door for you? You didn't quit then." "That was different," he said. "No, it wasn't," she replied. "You believed in your dream, even when it felt small. Why stop now just because it's getting bigger?" Leo didn't sleep much that night. But the next morning, he got up early. He wiped his bicycle. He repacked the fruit. He left a note for his boss. "I'll handle today's route. Please give me 2 more streets. I want to learn more." The boss smiled when he read it. With each week, Leo grew better. He found a quicker route between houses. He bought a stronger basket. He talked with customers and remembered their names and their favorite fruits. He began to understand what people needed, not just what they asked for. Then, one day, the store owner called him into back room. "You've been working hard," the man said. Leo nodded, unsure what was coming. "I want to offer you something. A partnership." Leo blinked. "Partnership?" "Yes. I see something in you. You have vision, and you care about people. I'll handle the store. You handle deliveries and new customers. We split the profit." It felt unreal. Leo had started with nothing. Now, someone wanted to trust him with part of a business. He said yes. But that meant more responsibility. He had to learn about prices, inventory, customer service, even simple accounting. At night, he watched videos on business basics. He read articles. He asked questions. Some days he made mistakes. He forgot an order or gave the wrong change. But each time he learned, he didn't blame others. He improved his system. He even hired 2 young boys from his neighborhood to help him on weekends. "You both remind me of myself," he said. "I'll teach you how to do this well." One of them asked, "Do you ever rest?" Leo laughed. "Sometimes. But when your dream is big, resting feels different. You rest when the job is done." The store grew. They added eggs, milk, bread, and even simple dinners for busy families. Leo's face became familiar around the town. People smiled when they saw his bike. Some parents told their kids, "If you want to learn hard work, watch Leo." But even success had its dark moments. One day, a competitor opened across town. Bigger trucks, lower prices, shiny uniforms. Some customers left. The store owner was worried. "We can't beat their prices." Leo said, "Then we won't try. Let's win with trust." He went door to door again. This time not to sell, but to talk. He said, "We may be small, but we care. We know your name. We won't forget your eggs or give you rotten bananas. That's our promise." Slowly, many customers returned, not because of prices, but because of Leo. His journey wasn't perfect, but his persistence never stopped. Obstacles came, but he climbed each one, learning as he went. He didn't wait for success to knock. He built the door and knocked on every house in town. Chapter 5. The Turning Point. 2 years had passed since Leo knocked on that first door with a basket of fruit. Now, he stood in front of a small audience at the community hall. His shirt was tucked in, his hands slightly shaking. He wasn't used to public speaking. But today was different. "Ladies and gentlemen," the mayor said, "this year's Local Hero Award goes to someone who reminds us that persistence, not luck, changes lives. Please welcome Leo." There was polite applause. Leo stepped forward, heart pounding. He smiled nervously. "I didn't prepare a fancy speech," he began, "but I'd like to share a piece of my story." He took a breath. "There was a time when no one answered their doors when I knocked. I had no money, no education, and no backup plan. Just a bicycle and a dream to change my life." He paused and looked around the room. "What changed wasn't my situation, but my thinking. I decided that even if people said no, I would keep trying. If I dropped a fruit, I would pick it up. If I failed, I would learn." A few people nodded. "I'm not here because I'm special," he continued. "I'm here because I didn't stop. That's the only real difference." When he finished, the applause felt warmer, louder. After the ceremony, a teenage girl approached him. "Mr. Leo," she said, "I want to open a bakery. Everyone says it's too hard. But do you think I can?" Leo looked at her. He saw the same spark he once had. He smiled. "Only one way to know. Start." She laughed nervously. "And if I fail?" "You will," he said gently. "But then you'll try again. That's the power you have." That moment, more than the award, was Leo's true turning point. He realized success wasn't just about growing a business. It was about lighting the path for others. So he started doing more. On weekends, he held free workshops. How to start small, how to talk to customers, how to keep going when you want to quit. People came, not just to learn, but to believe again. Anna helped him organize the events. She said, "You're building more than a delivery service, Leo. You're building belief." One evening, after a workshop, Leo sat alone outside the store. The sun was setting. Children rode bicycles. Neighbors waved. Someone called out, "Thanks for the apples, Leo." He smiled quietly. From no one answering his knock to people calling his name, that was the journey. The turning point wasn't one single day or a lucky break. It was a series of small steps, small choices, made again and again, especially when things got hard. He looked down at his hands, once tired from carrying baskets, now steady with purpose. He whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." Chapter 6. The future begins. Years later, Leo's shop had grown. It wasn't just fruit anymore. It had bread from a local baker, jars of honey from a neighbor, and hand-sewn bags from single mothers in town. He called it the People's Market. But Leo still rode his bicycle. Not because he had to, but because it reminded him of how it all began. One afternoon, A little boy ran up to him as he arranged apples on a shelf. "Are you the man who used to sell fruit with a basket?" The boy asked, eyes wide. Leo smiled. "Yes, that was me. My mom told me your story." The boy said, "I want to start something too. Maybe drawings. I like drawing." Leo knelt down. "Then start with one drawing. Every big thing begins small." The boy grinned and ran off. Leo stood quietly for a moment. The store was full of life, full of people who once doubted themselves, now selling, helping, believing. As he locked the shop that night, he looked up at the stars. Persistence had changed his life. But more than that, it had become a light for others. One person's journey had turned into a ripple, touching dozens, maybe hundreds. He walked to his bicycle, placed his old basket inside, and rode into the quiet evening. The road ahead was still long, but Leo no longer feared the distance, because now he knew something powerful. The future doesn't come all at once. It begins every time you don't give up.